Okay, hey everyone. Just wanted to quickly show you a couple of things that we've shipped recently with Ampt that should make your life a lot easier, especially if you're just experimenting, or even if you want to run full projects. So I'm going to go ahead and sign in here and show you something kind of cool. So go into templates here. We've got a whole bunch of full stack templates, backend templates, Hono, Restify, Fastify, you name it. Front end, bunch of templates there. We also have a bunch of other repositories or templates that you can use on our template site here in GitHub. These are all public templates, so feel free to make any changes. We've got things like resend email integration. We've got Next.js to-dos app in here and some cool stuff like that. But let's say that I want to just work on one of these projects. I want to do something interesting. Let's use Astro, for example. So I can click off the Astro app and it will give me how I can install the Ampt CLI, which I can do locally, which I've shown you probably 100 times. And then the way that you can actually start this particular template with the CLI. You can just run Ampt, pass in template, and type in Astro. But what if you're on the go? What if you maybe don't want to install the Ampt CLI? You just want to go ahead and experiment with something. We've added a direct link here to Gitpod. So Gitpod is very, very cool. Works really, really well. This will go ahead and just give us just give us this new workspace here. Can hit continue. You do have to sign up for Gitpod, but I think it's free. I don't think I pay for an individual user account here. So this will spin up a new basically VS Code in the cloud for you, which works really great. We already have installed an Ampt or a gitpod.yaml file over here that that actually installs Ampt for you, so that it'll go ahead and run this, so that you don't have to worry about doing that. It will ask you to log in. I think it asks you to log in every time just because it doesn't remember the state, but that's not that big of a deal. You just click on the link, it'll open up. We can confirm that code there. Once we're logged in, this will go ahead and update and show us that we are now logged in. So let's create a new app. We'll create it in demo. We'll call it Astro-demo like this. So this will go ahead and sync all of the information from this container, this web-based container, and actually sync this now into our own developer sandbox that is running on AWS and powered by Ampt, powered by an Ampt environment. So just this takes a couple of seconds to do. Excuse me. It connects to the real-time logs. Now we've got this URL here. We can open this URL in a new window if we want to, just by doing this. Again, there's some, it is good about, making sure it doesn't open links you don't want it to. So if we were to open this here, we'll get this welcome to Astro on Ampt. This is our sandbox. This is our unique sandbox, and we have full control of it, completely isolated. But if I go back over here and I actually want to do something interesting with it, I can just go ahead and run the dev command like this. This will start up the Astro dev server. I get two different services. One is the port 9000. That's a proxy we automatically create for you to the back end if you want to do something. Or the other option is to run port 3000, which is the actual Astro dev server. So that just disappeared on me. So hold on, let me open this back up. So I want to go ahead and view the preview of this one here. So I click this, and this will actually open up the preview version for me here. So this is actually a local version, local in the sense that it's running locally within this container, and it will show me what was going on here. And then it says I can go ahead and it gives me a little coding challenge. So I want to tweak this message. It says go to source/pages, and here's my index page. I will take my simple browser and drag it over here so we can see both. And I'm just going to move this down a little bit, and actually I will hide our files. So all I need to do now is go down to where it says welcome to Astro. So if I just type in hello like this with an exclamation point, and then I click save, you'll see that it automatically, I actually think it automatically saves. It'll go ahead and refresh this preview for me automatically, which is pretty cool. So even if I'm working in one of these containers, I've installed nothing. I have nothing on my local computer. This is all running here, and because everything in Ampt runs in the cloud, every service, every feature that you have, it's all in the cloud. So you don't have to install anything local like Local Stack or DynamoDB local or any of those things to try to emulate the cloud. It's all there for you, instantaneous feedback. So this is pretty cool. So I have this ability now that I've typed in, I've changed this to hello, welcome to Astro. Of course, we can do a lot more with Astro. We can do APIs. We can do all kinds of things like that. But what I'm going to do is just going to type in deploy and do a deploy prod. And so right from here, I'm deploying to a production environment. Do I want to create a new environment? Yes, I do. So I type in yes. So this is going to go ahead and deploy a production version of this for me. It'll take a couple of seconds to do that. But what's really cool here is that this is connected to the base repo here. The base. If I go back to here, this is the main Astro. I guess I can search for it, Astro, like this. So this is the main Astro public template. If you want to, though, you can go ahead and just you can click use this template, create a new repository in your own GitHub organization, and you can do it that way. But this should have already completed, so still going. But so what this will do is, again, we had this this version of Astro, which is the welcome to Astro, and if I refresh this. This actually hasn't rebuilt, right? Because I didn't run a build, and this is a remote environment. So if you're working in a remote environment, you would have to rebuild it. But this will actually run this build step for me here. We can open this. And then this is now our live version of the app itself that is running in production. We got our own URL. We can attach a custom URL to it, things like that. If I go back to this one here, I could go ahead and just run build. And this will actually rebuild it for my local, I don't need that. This will rebuild it for my local, for my developer sandbox, right? So now if I go back to my developer sandbox, if I can find it, this one here, and I was to refresh this, now this is going to say hello. All right, so that's Gitpod. You can do everything you can do from your local machine with it, and of course you can customize Gitpod any way you want to. Once you put it in your own repo, go ahead and customize this gitpod.yaml file to do whatever you want it to do, install additional dependencies or ESLint or whatever you want it to do. So that was Gitpod. All right, so now the other thing though is that if I did want to do something like maybe I want to use Hono, big fan of Hono, I can open this in Gitpod, or I can go ahead and look at the code, because again, these are all public templates that you can use. If I want to use this template, I can create a new repository, or I can open in Codespaces now. And so the way that this works is this is using the basic container here. So it loads very, very quickly. You can customize this. There's all kinds of stuff that you can do. But essentially this will go ahead and open this in a new Codespaces container. These are very similar to Gitpod. And then what it will do is it'll actually run this dev container script here that installs the CLI globally. And what's nice about Codespaces versus Gitpod is that this will actually persist. So the next time you open this this container, it'll keep that global installation. So all I have to do here is type in Ampt. This will ask me to log in. I am going to have to click on this, and again, make sure it's a trusted link. All right, confirm this. I am all set, and this will go ahead and log me in. So now I'm logged in. Now I can use demo as my organization to create this app. It's going to ask me to create a name for it, so I'll call it Hono Demo 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Why not? And then run that. So this will go ahead and now create that new developer sandbox for me and sync this information into that. So this just takes a couple of seconds, like it does, if you're doing it locally or if you're doing it remotely with using Gitpod or something like that. So I now have this new URL. I click this, I click open, and I will see that I now have a live sandbox up and running. And if we go back here and we look at this index.ts, we've got this /hello route or the /greet route. So I can come over here, type in /hello, and run that, and I get this hello here. And this works the same way Ampt does. So if I say hello from Ampt, exclamation point, once this is saved, this is synced, I refresh this, and this is immediately available. So you can do, if you have a dev server, I don't have a dev server set up here, but it's similar. You can run, I think it is, was it Simple Browser or something like that? So Simple Browser, and then you can put in a URL. So if we wanted to copy this URL here, we can, do that again, Simple Browser, and paste in this URL. then we would have this over here, so we could go ahead and make whatever changes we want. Hello from Ampt123, save that, and then we would have to refresh this. But again, we could do these two things side by side. Should be able to hide our thing there. So again, this is like Gitpod. I mean, I can go ahead and work on this stuff. I can make changes. I can write my code. I can install stuff. I can sync stuff. I can run my deploy commands. I can do all that stuff right from the web browser. Super helpful to do. And of course, both of these can be linked to actual Git repositories. So once you have them linked to your Git repository, then you can always open them using the same Git repository in different branches and do your previews and all that kind of stuff. So it is very, very powerful, and it's just nice if you don't feel like installing Ampt locally, or you don't want to have code running locally. If you're comfortable with these online IDEs, they're pretty good. They're not as, I don't think they're as good as running it locally, having some additional things installed locally and so forth, and being able to have all your windows everywhere. But it works pretty well, so give it a try.